I realize I'm one with the one.
All right. So we have a big treat today. I always love it when we have an opportunity to listen to Rudi Harst speak. What a lot of you may not realize is Rudi is not just the guy that comes a couple of Sundays a month and sings with us. Rudi is our music director. He organizes all of the music for the services for our church. Rudi is also a very gifted and acclaimed singer, songwriter, author. And I think it was 1992, he and Zed started the Celebration of Circles in San Antonio, a multi-faith spiritual center. I could go on and on with the accolades for Rudi, but I'm going to let you be the judge, as I know you will thoroughly enjoy his talk today, Holding On and Letting Go.
Thank you. So I have a very dear friend, Beva Sanchez Padilla, who is a long-time writer, playwright, poet, and taught creative writing and English at the high school level for many, many years. And every year when her students got back from their Christmas break, she would have them do an assignment. Write lists of everything that you want to do in the new year, and a list of everything you want to let go of in the new year, and a list of everything you're doing well and would like to continue doing in the new year. She did this for many, many years. Literally several thousand students got this list. And she reported that every year, without fail, the vast majority of the kids had long lists of things they wanted to do in the new year. They had a pretty good sized list of things they wanted to stop doing in the new year. But almost no one had a list of what they were doing well and wanted to build on. And from a spiritual, metaphysical perspective, there's the greatest power in the present moment. The future, those things you want to achieve someday, that's a good idea. The past, those things that you want to let go of, that's good, but that's in the past. In the present, what's going well and what you can build on is the foundation of growth. So I want to talk a little bit about this, what I call the spiritual dialectic of holding on and letting go. In the physical world, that's hard to do at the same time. I'm holding on and letting go. How do you do that? But in the metaphysical world, that which is beyond the physical, it is precisely this dialectic, the seemingly opposite forces that empower growth, both forward, upward, and inward, as we learn the skill of holding on and letting go. Early in my career, I had a recording contract with a publishing company in London. So I spent a fair amount of time in London over the years and would often ride the subway, or what they call the tube. How many of you ever had a chance to ride the tube in London? Quite the experience. And I don't know if you remember, but right before the doors open, whether you're inside or trying to get and trying to get out, or on the outside and trying to get in, there's a recording that goes on and says, "Mind the gap, mind the gap, mind the gap." And it repeats over and over because there's a gap between where you are in the subway and the platform. And in some stations, some platforms, that gap is 2 inches. But in some stations, for whatever reason, the gap is more like half a meter. And so it's important to mind the gap because the consequences of failure and forgetting are dire indeed. And at the metaphysical level, So many of us spend so much time minding the gap, worrying about what's between here where I am and there where I want to be, that they make any movement at all because they're spending all the time minding the gap. Not making any sense? That notion of practicing the awareness of where I am and where I want to be and the gap in between it without getting stuck in any of those positions. So, this morning, I would like to conduct a little thought experiment with you, if you're willing. It's just an invitation, not a commandment. But if you'd like to spend the next couple of minutes playing this game with me, I invite you to stand where you are. And then move from where you are. If you're on an aisle seat, let's take a step into the aisle. And if you just step and don't worry about your purse, it'll be fine. It'll be there when you get back. Just for a minute or two, someplace different. Now close your eyes. And really go someplace different. In your mind's eye, go somewhere you haven't been in a while or never been before. Maybe a beach in Hawaii, maybe your backyard that you haven't visited for a while. Maybe a park. Find yourself somewhere in your mind's eye. And now, imagine there's something in your life you'd like to manifest. Some behavior, something you'd like to have, something you'd like to do. And try to focus in your mind's eye on how to achieve that, how to get that, how to be there where you want to go. All right, just let go of that. Now come back to this present moment right where you are at the Unity Church in New Braunfels. And have a seat. Now what happened when I took you through that little mental exercise? First of all, what's he doing? Why are we moving? I don't want to do this. But it's Unity. Sure, I'll try it. So you moved. And then I asked you to go somewhere in your mind's eye. And you went, where am I going to go? I don't know. I could go here. Okay, I'll go there. And then I ask you to visualize where you'd like to be, what you'd like to manifest in your life. And you did that for a while, but I'm guessing, based on scientific research, that I left you in that space of not knowing exactly where you wanted to go or how to do that for about 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Which is about twice as long as most of us can concentrate on one thing. Which is precisely what happens when you're trying to manifest in your life that goal of getting the better job or losing weight or going on that trip to Hawaii or wherever it is you're wanting to go. That thing you're wanting to manifest, you want it. But you can really only concentrate on it about 3 seconds at a time. Especially when you're in the unknown. I deliberately had you move to another place and imagine yet another place and then think out yourself about something you want to guide to put you in that mysterious place of the gap between where you are and where you want to go. Lots of us have goals, things we really, really want to manifest in our lives. And as New Thought students, we've learned all kinds of tools, how to breath work and visualize and mind map and mastermind and do affirmations and release the negative and moving toward that magical place over there where the grass is greener. over there to that magical spot where you'll finally be happy because you're thinner, because you got the perfect partner and the job and the car and the thing, and it's over there. But if you get nothing else from my talk, I'd like for you to hear these following words from Tara Singh, a Sikh teacher and author. Who you are is far superior to who you want to be. Who you are is far superior to who you want to be. Particularly as Americans, we have this cultural fixation on getting better and having more and getting over the horizon to where the grass is greener, where the new frontier is at work, at home, that place over there. And there is great power and possibility in having goals and having plans to reach those goals. I'm not denying that at all. I'm just saying there's even more power in being exactly where I am, as I am, who I am, warts, farts, and all. Who I am is magnificent. Because I am wonderfully made in the image and likeness of God. That is the essence of the divine creation. Who you are has magnificent possibilities, but also in this moment have a magnificent beingness. And the same infinite intelligence that created the galaxy, trillions of galaxies, not just billions. We now think there are trillions of galaxies in our universe. And some people say there might be 14 universes. I don't know what to do with that thought at all. But I do know that the same force that made trillions of galaxies and placed them perfectly, spinning at the perfect place in all those places that it's happening in the universe, which is expanding outward at the speed of light. Think about that one for a minute. The same infinite intelligence that did all of that keeps all of those plates spinning simultaneously in trillions of galaxies, wonderfully made and created you in an infinite intelligence. And you want to improve on it? Well, yes. Do you want to get stronger, more flexible, have more money in my account, and have the perfect relationship? Sure. We all want forward movement too. But first of all and most of all, can I be where I am with gratitude and feel the perfection of where I am just the way it is? I first learned of this and heard of this with a teacher named Arnold Patent, a self-improvement author who wrote a wonderful book, You Can Have It All. I read the book and I got in touch with Arnold Patent. I want to study with you. And he hired me to go around the country and travel with him. I'd sing songs at all his weekend workshops. And wonderful teacher. And one of his central principles was the principle of perfection, which is that at every moment and every situation where you are is perfect. And he'd say this, and somebody would say, yeah, I get that, but I'll believe that when my boss stops being a jerk. I'll believe that when I'm rid of my cancer. This isn't perfect. My boss isn't perfect. My cancer isn't perfect. And Arnold's answer was always, yes, it is. In this moment, just for this moment, if you can let it be perfect without needing to fix or change anything and just be in the moment with gratitude for what is, then and only then can you make space for what wants to become. Because as long as you're resisting what is in this moment and judging it as being imperfect, judging yourself as being imperfect, judging by extension God as being imperfect, because what you have is not what you want. As long as you're stuck in that judgment, there is no way to move forward. At the time that I met Arnold, I was dry artistically. My music had dried up, and I'd been singing professionally for almost 10 years at that point. So I got a job. First time and only time in my adult life I had a job, 9 to 5, working for Kaiser Permanente hospitals as an administrative assistant. It was tough. I had to be there at 9 o'clock and stay till 5 every day. How do people do that? But I was pretty good at my job. I'm a guy who does his best at whatever I do, so I got a promotion and I was doing okay, but I hated it. I wanted to get back to music, and I'd been around Arnold Patton for a while and playing music in cities all across the country on the weekends, then rushing back to be at my desk at 9 o'clock in the morning. Not 9:05, 9. And I was having a hard time with it. I said, Arnold, I know this is perfect and everything, but I want to get back to playing music full time. He said, well, do you love your job? No, I hate it. Is it perfect? No, not yet. He said, well, stay with it. Stay with the feeling that it is. Practice that feeling, the perfection of your job, just the way it is. And you'll know when it's time to let it go. So every morning before going to work, every day at lunch, during my lunchtime, I do my little meditation, holy moly thing, and feel the perfection of being right where I was. And feel the perfection of typing those memos and retyping those memos. And then after I'd been doing that for a while, one day I was asked to deliver some surgical instruments to a hospital across the Bay Bridge in San Francisco. I was working in Berkeley at the time. So I go to take the instruments in the company truck. I'm driving across the bridge, and lo and behold, there was a big wreck on the bridge. And sadly, it was one of those times when it was a fatality, or they thought it might be, and so they brought traffic to a dead still. People were impatient, honk, 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 beep, beep. There was one lane that got open. Everybody wanted to get that one lane. But traffic was an absolute standstill. And people were frustrated. I was frustrated. And then I figured, hey, I got nowhere to go. Got out of my car and did some Tai Chi. Everybody else around me, honk, honk, beep, beep, turn up the radio to keep from getting bored. I'm watching the sun set on the Golden Gate Bridge across the bay, saying, I'm getting paid time and a half because this is overtime now. And I'm looking at the Golden Gate Bridge with the fog right, and this is perfect. And bing, right then I knew, oh. Next morning, I turned in my resignation. That was April of 1986, and ever since then, I've been doing what I love for a living, sharing my words and music wherever I can, whatever form it takes. And why do I tell you this? Because it was my absolute willingness to surrender to the perfection of what was, even though I didn't like it, and keep doing it. Until that moment came when it just dissolved. There is great power in letting go and letting God. We love to affirm that in New Thought. Let go, let God. Yes, yes, absolutely. But first of all and most of all, can I be grounded in holding on to the perfection of where I am, holding on to my awareness that everything in my life at this moment, everything is here to support me and teach me and help me grow. Whether I like it or not is beside the point. And yes, I know that's no fun to know at times. As a concept, it's really empowering. As a physical reality, it can be a bummer. And the principle remains. The principle of practicing the perfection of what is, while facing and embracing the holy mystery, which is what it is, of how to move beyond this moment into that which my heart longs for. Knowing that your longing is also a gift. It's an integral part of that same perfection. That longing to be over there for that place you want to be, that person you want to be with. There is real power in that. It's not either or, it's both and that give you the wings to fly. And to recognize that my timing is not necessarily God's timing. To be willing to live in what the poet Joy Harjo calls chrysalis time. To recognize that not everything happens when you want it to happen. It's a powerful story in Zorba the Greek about Zorba going out and seeing a chrysalis on the branch and seeing that cocoon with the chrysalis in it that was just starting to break out, the young caterpillar, just starting to poke its way out of the cocoon. How many have read this story? You know this one? And so Zorba once is showing his young friend the miracle of this butterfly, so hatching out of the cocoon, so he's seeing it poking out, so he takes the cocoon off the branch and he blows on it with a warm breath, hoping to urge the butterfly to come out sooner. And sure enough, the butterfly emerges right there in his hand, emerges from the cocoon and starts to fly and crumples to the ground and dies. And Zorba realizes in that moment that he was trying to rush the process on his time. He thought he wanted to show his friend, look, the butterfly can fly because I thought I could make it with my breath. Or not. Chrysalis time, honoring that what you want on the time scale that you wanted may not be the best thing. That there's great power in feeling the perfection of this moment just the way this is, with gratitude, which is the integral part of this process, doing it all with a grateful heart, not I'm feeling the perfection of this. I let go and let God. But with gratitude, I feel the perfection of this moment and of my life just the way it is now, knowing it is unfolding in the fullness of time, trusting in the divine power with a grateful heart. As the great mystic Meister Eckhart said 600 years ago, if the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it is enough. If the only prayer you ever say is thank you, it is enough. Or as Paul wrote in his letter to the Philippians, in Philippians 4, 6, and 7, be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be known to God, and the peace of God which passes all understanding will guard your hearts and minds. I believe it so. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you.